According to the Uganda Virus Institute, the Uganda has registered 9 cases of Omicron variant. Now that's a very big statement right in Uganda because it is still under research to know how it affects people and what impact it's likely to cause. For a country like Uganda, who have been locked down as a country for now coming to 2 years, it is something really to do with how much we're going to be putting this in control. The virus has been seen or discovered from people who are coming from different countries, including South Africa and others, but the management is still going on. Good evening once again. My name is Paul Collins, and it's only just 2 minutes past the hour of 9. And we're going to be beginning our news today from our Parliament. You're watching BTM News today. The Parliamentary Committee on Defense has summoned the Minister of Defense, Adolf Mwesigye, the Chief of Defense Forces and also CDF, Wilson Mbadi, and Minister of Internal Affairs, Major General Kahindo Tafiri. Next week, on 14th December, which will be a Tuesday, the summon comes after the MPs from Karamoja and their Karamoja Parliamentary Group petitioned the committee expressing concerns over cattle raids, destruction of property, killing of people by Turkana people from Kenya. And our reporter Chinjo was in Parliament when all this was happening. We're going to be beginning with this big story.
So all we are crying for is protection. From these individual thugs, there are not many, Madam Chair. There are few, and even there are fewer guns. But if we let this situation go, it will worsen.
Presenting before the committee, the chairperson of the group, Remigio Achia, alleged that on many occasions, the raids are backed by UPDF, who escort the raiders up to the border of Uganda and Kenya.
That is Nabilatuk and Madeniko. They drive cows and they go across the country. They go to the other side. Army does just escorts them up to where the animals enter and they come back. There is no cow which has ever been recovered in that side, which goes that side. There is favorism. Army fears the Pokot so much, and that's why raids has continued.
From Moroto district, I have run away with the guns to the border. So they launch attacks from across the border. And the UPDF tells us, because it's another country, they cannot pursue. But we should have an arrangement with our neighbors. That's why we're saying in the committee, our president should talk to President Uhuru so that we can have a collaboration where we do hot pursuit.
Even of recent, we arrested some security officers, the GISOs. From my constituency, one of them was arrested. His motorcycle would go to survey during the day, the homes where there are cattle. And a vehicle, a trucker would come, park somewhere like pretending to be spoiled, or maybe they are coming to collect oranges. Then in the night, it is supervised feeding cattle. So it is not that different. It is happening in Teso, it is happening in Karamoja.
He further said that the raiders have backup from the security personnel in Karamoja, who even guide them on where and how to raid safely, especially when the government has disarmed the Karamojongs.
Animals are impounded, and when they're impounded, they disappear in the barracks. And they target only big bulls, disappear in the barracks. Where do the animals go? Where do the animals go? There's also raiding within the army, inside the barracks.
And if the Karamojong women were here, they would have made an alarm, not locally the way the African women do like this, but they would use their legs to do that, to express disappointment. Our intelligence officers need to do a lot. Even in the battlefield where they fight with these warriors lose guns. They lose guns, they also lose phones. But where do they put these evidences? Where do they put those phones?
Now the MPs want the protection security strategy for Karamoja be reviewed and also President's directives on protecting the people of Karamoja be implemented.
Have always been giving out guns for people to go and rob. So, much as you have been taking corners about it, I think that is the area where we should look directly, Madam Chair. And this issue where officers are deployed more than 10 years in one area, it cannot be explained anywhere.
It's from this that the Shadow Minister for International Affairs, Mukono North MP Abdallah Chiwanuka, moved a motion before the committee to summon the security heads in the country to come and explain the accusations.
From DRC Congo. But there was a thorough exercise that was done, and it was implicated that some of the wrong elements were actually coming with the refugees into the country. So we want to know, summon the relevant authorities from the defense, from police, CDF, Commander Land Forces, because this is his area, and also the Minister for Karamoja, so that we now get to the real issues.
This report has been compiled by Godfrey Chiinji and Francis Lubega for BTM News Today.
That their command does not allow them to move at night. That even if a crowd is attacked, they are told not to move at night until morning, then they will start to follow where the thieves are gone. And that's why thieves have now started that since the soldiers don't move at night, they attack towards evening or at night, and they drive cows across the border. So by the morning, when the soldiers now wake up to follow, they have actually crossed the border. So that's another thing which is not done right.
The National Unity Platform, or commonly known as NUP, has given a warning that there was an illegal deployment of Ugandan troops in the Democratic Republic of Congo without the parliament's approval that will cost the country highly. On November 30th, 2021, UPDF issued a statement indicating that together with their counterparts of the DRC army, they had launched artillery and airstrikes to eliminate the camps of the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a rebel group that has over the years been accused of being behind the terrorism activities in both Uganda and also the Democratic Republic of Congo. Our reporter was there to get you this.
Addressing journalists at the party headquarters in Kamocha, John Baptist Nambeshe, the NUP Vice President, Eastern Region, said that the deployed forces are most likely to repeat the same mistakes of looting natural resources that occurred in the late 1990s that saw penalties sanctioned against Uganda government.
The truth of the matter is that the people's representative the world over, if there is an agreement, a joint agreement for this operation that was made between DRC and Uganda, all these happenings, including deployments of our army, should have been done with the approval, with the knowledge, with the endorsement of the parliament, the 11th parliament of the Republic of Uganda. Short of this, they are in an engagement which is an absolute illegality of sorts.
Nambeshe wonders why the Ugandan government did not emulate what Democratic Republic of Congo government did when they requested the endorsement of parliament to allow their troops to join the combined operation with Uganda. He says the government is less concerned with accumulating debts that are deepening the risks for the future of Uganda.
There is a whooping 10 billion. In fact, if you convert 13.5 trillion, million USD to Uganda currency, that is 10 trillion, a debt that Uganda has to pay. And by the way, it may not even be paid by us. It might be paid by the great-great-grandchildren of our grandchildren, discuss. Because we already have a debt which is beyond red flag. So if you add on this one, of plundering Congo, the looting that was done in way back in 1998 onwards, this makes a very skyrocketing debt for our country to pay. And this debt is being accumulated by a government that is mindless about the future of the young. They talk of securing your future.
Earlier this month, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, asked the government to present to Parliament a comprehensive report on its foreign deployment of Uganda People's Defense Forces to the Democratic Republic of Congo, an explanation that hasn't been presented.
Because those claiming responsibility of the terrorism in Uganda are known. The Islamic State, the militants of ICC, have claimed total responsibility of all the terrorism that is happening. But to our shock and mortification, we see government rejecting that claim and pursuing ADF in Congo. And it floods one's mind with many questions. that maybe they could be right.
Uganda sent ground forces into the Democratic Republic of Congo in the ongoing armed operation against the Allied Democratic Forces rebel group. Uganda blames the ADF for a series of bombings in the country, but analysts say inviting the Ugandan army into the DRC could raise tension with neighboring Rwanda. This story has been compiled by Sophie Nasozi for BTM News Today.
Well, let's continue with what's happening in DRC. The opposition Democratic Party has shown their dissatisfaction over the way that the government is handling the issue of illegally deploying the Uganda People's Defense Forces in Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, this is meant to fight the suspected terror group that is called Allied Democratic Forces. Now, the party revealed that the government does not have the authority to send Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, in Democratic Republic of Congo without first seeking the permission from the August House. Now, this was communicated by the party spokesperson, Okla Opio, while briefing the media at their offices here in City House, Kampala.
Party, through their spokesperson Opio Amanu, has opposed the government's move to deploy the Uganda People's Defense Forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo to help fight the suspected terror group of the Allied Democratic Forces. This comes at a time when the opposition members of parliament, led by Ibrahim Semujunganda, the Chira municipality member of parliament, say that the Ugandan army needed parliament's permission to enter DRC and support its troops in flashing out ADF. Democratic Party says the move is illegal, hence asking the government to intervene immediately and withdraw the forces or go through the right procedures.
Party joins the voices of Ugandans decrying the deployment of the UPDF in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We are alive to the fact that, though not a legal requirement, for the President to seek approval of Parliament while making such deployment.
Opio says it would make sense if the government came out and explained to Ugandans.
Currently wield the voice of the people. So it is important for the state to take the army into such operations, but with the backing of Ugandans. Definitely, you could not go to every Ugandan, but we know their leaders. We know the leaders that they are appointed. So getting the blessings of the leaders that the people voted, that in itself is a blessing and it is courtesy.
In the same spirit, the party has asked President Museveni to also explain through Parliament the terms and conditions they agreed on with the Democratic Republic of Congo while accepting UPDF in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
By stating it unequivocally that we demand that the President briefs Parliament on the intention of the said Operation Suja and lay before Parliament the bilateral agreement with the DRC under which the same is being executed for the purpose of scrutiny, inspection and accountability.
Amanu has further urged the government to provide a stimulus package to teachers and help schools that are in bad shape to enable them revive from the COVID-19 pandemic as they prepare for the reopening of schools.
To demand that government should source money and give to schools as stimulus packages. This shall subsequently relieve the parents of the burden.
Well, now, as doctors, industrial action continues. This week, they are demanding to be considered and worked upon by the government. Yesterday, the Minister of Health Permanent Secretary, Dr. Diana Twine, came out and applauded a section of doctors who have boycotted the strike. Dr. Twine also urged all doctors on strike to resume work as soon as possible before they change their mind as the Ministry of Health. Now today we're going to be speaking to the General Secretary for Uganda Medical Association, commonly known as UMA, Dr. Herbert Luswata, to make sense of their fate, considering such a big warning from Dr. Diana Twine. We have this.
It's coming to 3 weeks, or we've entered the third week of the industrial auction by the Uganda Medical Association. And we're seated here with the General Secretary, that is Dr. Luswata Herbert. And we're going to be discussing, of course, how far they've come and also what's the way forward, especially since it is believed that some of the doctors did not adhere to what the Uganda Medical Association is doing as of now. Dr. Luswata, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
How is your day like?
My days, it is just there. I can't say that it is normal.
Just there. Industrial action is still taking place.
Industrial action is still taking place, so we are
there
not
should
yet
be some
happy.
energy. Maybe results are coming in.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We are not yet happy.
Do we have doctors in our language? The doctors we call snitches or snakes?
For now, we don't have any snitch. Those kind of doctors you've talked about.
The ones that are actually working when they're not supposed to be working.
And we don't have such doctors. What we have on ground, the doctors we agreed upon were supposed to stay on ground and provide emergency services.
Right.
They are supposed to stay back and operate on mothers who are afraid to deliver. They are supposed to stay behind and handle people who have gotten accidents. Such conditions whereby if someone is not attended to urgently, they can lose their lives, because our intention of the strike is not against Ugandans, so we don't want any Ugandan to die. So those skeleton staffs are supposed to be there and provide emergency services.
Right. Dr. Diana Twine says what is happening right now is wrong, and threatens, first of all, says that they're going to give you contracts. They're going to put you on contracts. Do you think the contracts are going to yield anything?
I don't think the contracts are going to solve the current problems, because the problem of not employing doctors in government hospitals cannot be solved by contracts.
Right.
You just employ them, even in the current situation, without contracts. The problem of not fulfilling the presidential pledges of increasing salaries are not going to be solved by a contract. So I don't know what problem exactly this contract is actually going to solve. And the issue of doctors working in other private facilities, it was agreed upon by the president based on the fact that the money the government is paying is not good enough, even up to now, to sustain doctors. So they need an extra pay from the private facilities. So these contracts, I don't think they are going to solve any problem.
They're not going to solve any problem. So going forward, if the presidential directives are not put in place, because seemingly the Uganda Medical Association seems to be on the same page with the doctor, but then not on the same page with with Dr. Diana Twine, what's the way forward in case she does, or in case the ministry does not implement these directives?
The stand of the doctors, because for us we are leaders and we are here to put out their voice, to talk on their behalf. What they are saying is that they have the minimal demands which the government at least must fulfill for them to be able to go back to work. When they are going to do that may not be a question right now. For them, they are saying what we want is to have those things done, at least for now, before we go back, because we have received many presidential pledges with the good heart of the president, and the officials have not worked on those things. So they are saying that the families of doctors who died must receive compensation from the government before we think about going back to work. The salary enhancement, which you have been waiting for 4 years from government, we agreed this one can come next financial year. Yes, it is okay. We can wait for that one. But then there is an issue which does not require budgeting, the tax-free cars. This one just require URA to release a letter showing that they received the presidential directive, and doctors can go and buy their cars without paying taxes, because we need these cars to transport us to work, to go and handle emergencies. And in the times of corona, when even the new strain of corona is coming, if you have another wave and we get a lockdown, we shall need these cars to be able to serve Ugandans. So another key issue which the doctors are saying they need before we go back to work is the money for enhancing the pay for the interns. This money was already passed in a supplementary budget, and the money is at Ministry of Finance. The doctors are saying that money should hit the accounts of the intern doctors before we go back. They go back to work. Mainly those are the ones which we think they are very urgent, and if those ones are fulfilled, then we can wait for the others.
We can wait for the others. Thank you so much, Dr. Luswata, for talking to us. Thank you for watching BTM News today.
Well, with the closure of different massage parlors, massage has become, a little bit loose these days. But today we're going to be taking a look in BTM Health. Today we're going to be taking a look at the benefits of massage therapy. We have this.
Health experts want you to know the top 5 health benefits of adding regular massage therapy to your health and wellness strategy. Massage therapy from a licensed practitioner can lower stress. The long-term effects of stress can take emotional and physical tolls. Massage therapy may relieve stress and conditions associated with it, such as tension, headaches. It may also increase immune function. Medical research indicates that massage therapy can help boost immune system strength by increasing the activity level of the body's natural killer T cells, which fight off viruses. Massage therapy may boost mental health and wellness. Research suggests that symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression, all associated with mental health, may be directly affected with massage therapy. Now, this therapy can also manage pain. Pain can negatively affect a person's quality of life and impede recovery from illness or injury. Recent findings highlight the role of massage in pain management. It may also improve physical fitness. Elite and recreational athletes alike can benefit from massage therapy. Massage can reduce muscle tension, improve exercise performance, and prevent injuries. The best way to experience the benefits of massage is to try a half-hour or 1-hour massage session for yourself.
But now people who survived chemical attacks, or many, in this case, acid attacks, have been advised to have proper nutrition, because with poor care, one might end up acquiring other complications. Now, this advice has been issued by Dr. Ben Chingi Afwa, a health practitioner and also specialist surgeon of plastic surgery and reconstructive surgery, during a dialogue on acid attack in Uganda. We have more of this.
According to Dr. Ben Avua, a specialist surgeon, all people who survived acid attacks are likely to contract other complications if they don't take caution. Dr. Ben says the people still need care in terms of reducing the costs of the cream they use, medication, and proper feeding.
Injuries. I want to expand it a little bit more. I'd like to call it chemical injuries, because some of the chemicals may be acids specifically, and they may cause injuries or burns in a different way.
Speaking during the dialogue, one of the researchers attributes the cases of acid attacks to open selling of acid and also zero laws that do not condemn the attackers.
The acid survivors need to be included in the empowerment programs that are implemented by the government, because we know there are quite a number of programs going on as far as our country is concerned.
Some acid survivors have shown concern over the delay by the police to solve their cases in terms of getting references.
And she told me how she can never go back to police, because when she went there, she was having a lot of insults.
She wanted to aspire to become a chartered accountant. So I think we need to, let's also think broader and work with HOCRA to see how we can empower these survivors.
Samali Wakoli, Assistant DPP, Office of Director of Public Prosecution, says that the law has tried to punish those who pour acid on the victims, but it has still failed to identify the original trouble causer.
They are very poor, and even if you told them to compensate the victim for the surgery, can't afford. So when we talk about a sentence, the sentences we are referring to should be for either imprisonment for life or imprisonment
or death penalty.
Ruth Sechindi, Director of Monitoring and Inspection Uganda Human Rights Commission, adds that there is still a big gap to curb the vice of acid pouring in Uganda.
Likola ku nsonga za acid kubanga nga bwe tulabye acid mungi mu communities zaffe.
With the ongoing celebrations of the 16 days of activism, acid survivors are calling on everyone to break the silence. This story has been compiled by Chipo Brenda Mariam for BTM News Today.
It's 26 after 9. We're continuing with BTM News Today, but we're going to take a short break. We're returning with so much more. Stay with us.
Shopping made hassle-free like never before. Introducing the Bayi Dondolo mobile app, available on both Android and iOS. With our simple-to-use mobile application, you can have whatever you need delivered right to your doorstep. Download the Bayi Dondolo app to make your fast order and win yourself free goodies for all your genuine electronics, home appliances, fashion products, accessories, gadgets, foodstuffs, cars, and so much more. All our products have guarantee, warranty, and you pay cash on delivery. Bayi Dondolo, your marketplace.
Are you adding moments to a life well captured? A wedding, graduation, introductions, Koinjira, birthdays, anniversaries, documentaries, outdoor photo shoots, and studio portraits. You want to keep some of these moments forever. We at Mozart Pictures are here to capture lasting impressions. We are a professional photography and videography company that provides services for every occasion. Find us at Equatorial Mall, shop number 166 on level 2, or call for bookings 0782 186 788.
Ever wondered where to have your events, host your guests, yet in the city center and can easily be accessed? At Turban Center, we have a conference and events center. We help you to host a variety of events. We have the main hall of 700 seaters, medium room of 150 seaters, boardroom for your outdoor meetings, and open space for your designed event. We host the following: wedding meetings and wedding parties, project launches, auditions and casting, fellowships, presentations, birthday parties, baby showers, conferences and seminars, product launches, and many more. Expect the best without limitation with a free parking space in the basement of the building. For booking, come to Tobani Center Building on Ginger Road opposite DFCU Bank, after former Nando's on 2nd floor. Conference and Event Center, the golden standard for your next executive event. This is BTM. We transform.
back, and thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching BTM News today. My name is Paul Collins. Now, we're going to be taking a look at what happened earlier on today as a way of giving back to the viewers. Breakthrough Media, which harbors BTM TV through its Chikola show, has rewarded a lucky winner with a huge motorcycle. The winner of the motorcycle has been identified as Jace Naloga, a resident of Nakabugo Bida in Wachiso district. Let's see what happened over there.
Kaguguno anti ebirabo byakagwirawo beera omuwanguzi ng'ozannya akazanyo ka BTM Kikola weewangulira ebirabo nfofoolo ky'olina okukola kiri kimu kyokka tega amaaso ku BTM TV oyanukula ekibuuzo ng'otebereza emiwendo gy'ebintu eby'enjawulo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are in Nakabugo Bira. Tuesday we've come to just award our winner, one of our luckiest winner. Yes, Madame Naroga Joyce. She was able to win herself the border, and BTM TV just brought it for her after she had played a game that is called BTM Chikola. She dialed *210 *433#. She followed the prompts and won herself the border. So we are here to show us, to give her the border, and she expresses happiness and how she feels about the game.
Feeling so good. I've won a border from BTM TV, Chikola Christmas Bonanza. I'm the person who have won this border, and I'm really very, very happy to receive this border. God is so great. I thank God.
Wow.
God, thank you, Lord.
So, but your mouth, express your happiness. Okay, you can start your border. Start it so that people may see that it's really working.
Got the key for my border, so I'm going to start it now, and I start riding. So this is my border. I think you're hearing it. This is Nakabugo village. Please go and win for the borders. So you just dial *210 *433#. You're going to win this border. And I know what I've seen there, they have very many prizes. Please go and win it. Go and try on your TV at your home. You sit there, dial, they'll be bringing everything you've won. This is so great from BTM. Thank you so much, BTM.
How did you feel when you were starting to play this game? Did you feel like you're going to win the border, or you didn't have any hopes of winning?
The fact is, I had no hope. But anyway, it's my daughter who encouraged me. She told Mommy, let us try. I told her, you know what? This money I have on my phone, this is the only money we have at home. So if we risk and we take there and we don't win, we shall be in trouble. She told me, Mommy, you try, but for sure I had no hope. I tried, but just within like 5 minutes, I got a call from BTM. They called me that you Joyce, you have won a border. So I've won, and that is so great. I thank God for that. First of all, I have a school whereby my border can go and pick the children around the village in Nakabugo, and it brings the children at school.
I'm really feeling greatness in my heart.
Why?
Just because my boss has won this border alongside with me here.
Wow.
And then it has just been a kind of a surprise that we really never expected it to be.
Wow.
So she has also just called us from our residential places. And so she told us of this surprise.
Okay. First, show us that that happiness, because you didn't expect this. So show us. BTM Chikola.
Well, you can be part of the winners, and also maybe you can try to play the game, and right there with that, you'll be part of the people who will be winning on a winning streak. Now, let's see what the collaboration between NEMA and UNBS are trying to create here to fight polythene bags and also plastics as their way of protecting the environment. The National Environment Management Authority, together with the National Bureau of Standards have embarked on banning polythene bag and also plastics. Now, bottles and also other plastic containers that are below 30 microns. Several government agencies in Uganda have assigned two different responsibilities by law to implement and also enforce law on importation, local manufacturing, distribution and use of plastic carrier bags. This has been revealed by Davis Livingstone Ebiru, the UNBS Executive Director, while addressing journalists in Kampala earlier on today. And our reporter was there to get you more of this.
According to David Livingstone Ebiru, the National Environment Management Authority is mandated to monitor, regulate, supervise, and coordinate all activities relating to the environment, while Uganda National Bureau of Standards is mandated to enforce product standards. The National Environment Act therefore mandates the UNBS to enforce the provisions of Section 76 of the Act to ban all plastic bags below 30 microns.
These ones are called flat bags. These are commonly used for selling sugar, selling flour in small retail outlets, sometimes selling Rolex and chapati in those roadside places. I think you have been seeing this. So this is one of the caveras we don't want to see on the market, so long as they are below the microns specified by the standard. Country, as you are aware, have been assigned different responsibilities and mandates by the law, and some of these mandates require us to enforce certain regulations, and that involves the National Environmental Act 2019, which is being enforced by NEMA, and then we have the Uganda National Bureau of Standards Act.
Ebiru says many factors have continued to delay enforcement of plastics ban in Uganda, but there is renewed commitment to enforce the ban through a joint operations approach, NEMA and UNBS.
Bureau to develop, promote and enforce the national standards, of which the ban, the Cavera standards, which prescribes below certain microns, is part of our mandate. So NEMA is mandated to monitor, regulate and supervise and coordinate all activities relating to the environment, while UNBS is mandated to enforce the product standards. The NEMA Act therefore mandates UNBS to enforce these provisions under Section 76.
NEMA has undertaken inspections and inventory of facilities manufacturing plastic carrier bags since 2020, during which the manufacturers of plastic carrier bags are informed of the requirements in the Act. This was followed by the inspection of companies, and to date, 47 factories have been inspected, 21 factories of which were found to be non-compliant and suspended from production and required to implement corrective actions before resumption of production. Majority of the factories were concentrated in Kampala, Wakiso, Jinja, and Mukono.
47 of these factories have been inspected for compliance. Unfortunately, we have almost half of them still having non-compliance with the specifications, and as a result, we have suspended them from production until they take corrective action to make sure that they comply with the required standards. So most of our inspection and enforcement has been majorly focused at the center where the majority of the production takes place.
Meanwhile, the Executive Director of NEMA, Mr. Barirega Akankwasa, has confirmed the enforcement and the provision of the law, as he narrates.
Here, to tell Ugandans that we have teamed up to educate Ugandans about the dangers of plastics, but also to enforce the provisions of the law as we are expected to do.
Barireje further appealed to all beverage companies to start packing in glass bottles since they can be reused many times.
Of drinking water in a plastic bottle, they have gone back to glass bottles. Other neighboring countries have gone back to glass bottles.
The major impact of plastic bags on the environment is that it takes many years to be decomposed. In addition, toxic substances are released into the soil when plastic bags perish under sunlight, and if plastic bags are burned, they release a toxic substance into the air, causing ambient air pollution. Ashraf Nduga for BTM News Today.
Well, leaders from Kawempe Division are worried about the rampant growth of fuel stations in Kawempe Division, saying that they are not well arranged according to the law, something that is likely to bring a fire outbreak in the area. The leaders, spearheaded by the division mayor, Emmanuel Serunjoji, has decided an order to stop the creation of more fuel stations and fuel pumps in Kawempe for the safety of their people. The mayor, Serunjoji, revealed this earlier on when he was talking to our reporter, Sebita, and we have this.
Mayor Emmanuel Serunjoji says they have started this movement of stopping unnecessary construction of petrol stations in Kawempe by tabling and debating the matter in the division council meetings to make sure that everything is done lawfully.
Yesterday, I presented a motion about the escalating petrol stations in Kawempe division. Construction of petrol station in Kawempe is rampant now, and having got an outcry from the residents about the petrol stations, and well knowing the dangers those people are facing in case the fire erupts or anything. So people who are always near petrol station are bound to be burnt out in case fire erupts. So
he further says many people's lives are in danger because of these fuel stations that are built close to one another. Therefore, as a leader, he can't just sit and watch when all this is happening.
As a leader, I can't sit down and fold my hands. I had to table that motion, and mine is to hold any construction of petrol stations because we have enough. We have ever heard of a catastrophe which fell in the town center, where one of the petrol stations got caught of fire. A number of people passed on. We don't want to experience the same. You can imagine in the Kawempe now, you would hardly walk 5 or 5 meters. You get another petrol station. It's unbelievable and unacceptable. We can't live like that.
The deputy mayor for Kawempe Division, Badru Bakoja, says, however, despite these stations paying revenue to the government, they cannot allow people's lives to be at risk.
Taxes are important, but they're not as important as lives of people. So our concern as leaders is, first and foremost, the security and the well-being of our people, the survival. Their life first, then the economy follows. People who are dead don't have anything to be proud of. Therefore, we secure their lives first before I could talk of the income that is generated from those resources.
More to that, Benon Intege Sempala, the Kawempe sub-county chief, has advised Ugandans to emphasize teaching young ones the indigenous languages.
It is better, even in other schools, to whether you're in the central region or in the urban area, to make sure that children are taken through the local language so that they don't forget their tribe.
In a space of a few years, fuel pumps in Kawempe Division have increased in numbers, forcing leaders to intervene. Robert Sebita Bamugonya for BTM News Today.
Well, now let's take a look at what's happening in our international news today. The foreign minister of the UK foreign office's handling of the Afghanistan evacuation after the Taliban seized Kabul was dysfunctional and chaotic. A whistleblower came out to give out that report, which further affected the UK. And also in other news, the US has announced a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympic in China, a move that has been heavily criticized by authorities in China and more so in Beijing. Now also right here, Myanmar, has reported Facebook for hate speech. Dozens of Rohingya refugees in the UK and also in the US have come out to sue Facebook, accusing the social media giant of allowing hate speech against them to spread to the people and also across the world. We have all these stories in our global app.
Rafael Marshall said the process of choosing who would get a flight out was arbitrary and thousands of emails with pleas for help went unread. The then Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab was slow to make decisions, he added. A government spokesperson said staff had worked tirelessly on the biggest mission of its kind in generations. And a source close to Mr. Raab said verifying identity and securing safe passage had been the major practical challenge, not the speed of decision-making. The UK airlifted 15,000 people out of Afghanistan after the Taliban took control of the capital Kabul. This included 5,000 British nationals, 8,000 Afghans and 2,000 children. In written evidence to the Foreign Affairs Committee, Mr. Marshall said up to 150,000 Afghans who were at risk because of their links to Britain applied to be evacuated, but fewer than 5% received any assistance. There was also a lack of expertise and a lack of coordination between the department and the Ministry of Defense, he added. In the desperate days at the end of August as the Taliban advanced on Kabul, many of these people were emailing the FCDO to get permission for a flight out of the country. Mr. Marshall said there were usually 5,000 unread emails in the inbox at any given moment. And in thousands of cases, emails were not even read, including cases from MPs. Away from that, the White House said no official delegation would be sent to the Games because of concerns about China's human rights record. But it said U.S. authorities could attend and would have the government's full support. China called Washington's move a self-directed political threat. Earlier, anticipating the announcement, Beijing said it would take resolved countermeasures against such a boycott. White House Press Secretary John Passer confirmed the boycott on Monday, saying that the admission would not contribute to the fanfare of the Olympics. Ms. Passer added that the U.S. government did not feel it was the right step to penalize athletes who had been training for this moment, but not sending an official U.S. delegation to the 2022 Games could send a clear message. Following the U.S. announcement, New Zealand said it too would not send a delegation. Other countries, including the UK and Australia, are said to be considering boycotts. China's Washington embassy also waded in on the announcement, calling the boycott a grave distortion of the spirit of the Olympic Charter. High-level government representatives from the U.S. and other countries are usually present at Olympic Games. Earlier this year, First Lady Jill Biden led the U.S. delegation at the Summer Olympics held in Tokyo. And finally, they are demanding more than $150 billion in compensation, claiming Facebook's platforms promoted violence against the persecuted minority. An estimated 10,000 Rohingya Muslims were killed during a military crackdown in Buddhist majority Myanmar in 2017. Facebook, now called Meta, did not immediately respond to the allegations. The company is accused of allowing the dissemination of hateful and dangerous misinformation to continue for years. In the UK, a British law firm representing some of the refugees has written a letter to Facebook sent by the BBC alleging. In the US, lawyers filed a legal complaint against Facebook in San Francisco, accusing it of being willing to trade the lives of the Rohingya people for better market penetration in a small country in Southeast Asia. They cite Facebook posts that appeared in an investigation by the Reuters news agency, including one in 2013 stating, "We must fight them the way Hitler did the Jews." Another post said, "Pour fuel and set fire so that they can meet Allah faster." Facebook has more than 20 million users in Myanmar. For many, the social media site is their main or only way of getting and sharing news. Facebook admitted in 2018 that it had not done enough to prevent the incitement of violence and hate speech against the Rohingya. This followed an independent report commissioned by Facebook that said the platform had created an enabling environment for the proliferation of human rights abuse. The Rohingya are seen as illegal migrants in Myanmar and have been discriminated against by the government and public for decades. In 2017, the Myanmar military launched a violent crackdown in Rakhine State after Rohingya militants carried out deadly attacks on police posts. Thousands of people died and more than 700,000 Rohingya fled to neighboring Bangladesh. There are also widespread allegations of human rights abuses, including arbitrarily killing, rape, and burning of land. In 2018, the UN accused Facebook of being slow and ineffective in its response to the spread of hatred online. Under US law, Facebook is largely protected from liability over content posted by its users. But the new lawsuit argues the law of Myanmar, which has no such protections, should prevail in the case. BTM News Today.
Uganda Cranes team that will be facing Tanzania over the few days to come. And reporter Kaketo Gonzaga has this big sports story for you. Let's take a look.
The former KCCA-FC striker is mostly remembered for scoring Uganda Cranes' goal against Cape Verde that took the team back to 2019. Coach Multin Micho Serodovich summoned a total of 18 locally based players to fly out to Dar. Uganda will use the friendly as preparation for 2022 African Nations Championship CHAN qualifiers. According to Micho, they have started preparations for the qualification campaign of CHAN 2022 in Algeria, and this gives them the opportunity to widen the pool of the players. Other players on the team that will face Tanzania include goalkeepers Joel Mutakubwa from Express FC, Jack Komakech of Vipers, James Begisha of UPDF FC, Ibrahim Juma from KCCA FC, Yuara AFC's Najib Fazali, Joseph Bright Vuni from Arua Hill SC, Faruk Katongole Yuara AFC, George Kasonko Bull FC, John Biamkama Express FC, Joseph Akandwanaho Express FC, Travis Mutiaba, SC Villa, among others. Moving on, the squad has been preparing since November 1st under coach Ivan Tawithemwira and his assistant Robinson Turinawe. Tawithemwira is confident the boys will make Uganda proud in the West Indies. The team will leave for the Caribbean on New Year's Day, January 1st. They are expected to arrive in the West Indies on January 3rd and will play 2 warm-up games against Sri Lanka and Scotland before they take on Ireland on January 15th in their first game, followed by South Africa on January 17th. They will finish their group games against India on January 18th. Ivan Tawithemwira, the head coach of Baby Cricket Cranes, states the reason as to why they never made big changes on the team that won the ICC Under-19 World Cup Africa qualifiers.
The intention for us as we selected the boys was to maintain the same core of players, make an addition where necessary, but we've retained the core 14 that were in Rwanda.
Only one player has been added on the team, as Ivan states.
Made an addition in Edwin Nwagaba, who will supplement with his all-round skills to the team setup.
Ivan says they have started to work on the physiological part of the players before they go to this event.
We thought we'd address that mentally, try to help the boys in their mental approach to it and make them realize that it's just another game of cricket, that they have the potential to win, and try to hand the tools to them so that they can be able to execute so well.
Despite the fact that Uganda is in a tough group, Ivan adds that they are to fight tooth and nail to see that they put on a good show in this event.
The group is a bit tricky, but like I said before, at this point in time, all groups in the World Cup are tricky. Had Uganda been in any of them, so we want to just stay positive. We are the underdogs; they are the ones with the pressure. So we want to go in that kind of free mindset.
Uganda will be making their third appearance at the Junior Global Showpiece following their debut in 2004 and subsequent showing at the 2006 editions in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka respectively. The World Cup in the West Indies will run from January 3rd to February 4th with Uganda in Group B alongside India, South Africa and Ireland. Some of the summoned players include Pasco Murungi and Captain Munir Ismail going as a vice-captain, Akram Subuga, Christopher Kidega, Pius Oloka, Joseph Baguma, Matthew Musinguzi, Ronald Yomara, Cyrus Kakuru, Asaba Brian, Isaac Sanywa Tega, Ronald Opio, among others. This report has been filed by Kaketo Gonzag for BTM Sports News Today.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate you for being with us and for staying with us all along. It's about 4 minutes to clock 10, and 10 we have Access coming up next. So make sure that you catch a date with us, because there's so much in entertainment news that's coming up to you. But also remember to catch us tomorrow. Storage will be early as 6:30 right here to begin your day. Have a very great night and God bless you.
Transform. You now have access to your Uganda TV and radio channels in one place, with the options to pause, rewind,